Hey, what's up? What up? What up? Let's get ready to rumble. Yeah, buddy. Let's get it. Let's get it. Y'all see the name for tonight I chose. Keep in mind that I like to say a lot of things with the name Ray because Ray embodies everything, right? So there you go. The arrangement with Ray in the middle. Yes, with Ray in the middle. So I'm humble though. I'll say that Ray embodies almost, it embodies almost everything. Just gonna be a little humble. Hey, I see you, deliberate. I see you. Good to see you in the building. Let's get it. What's good, Mike? What's good? Yeah, let's go forth with this. This one should be interesting. Get your popcorn, nachos, hot dogs, and sodas out. Yep. We're gonna do this one pretty interesting. So first and foremost, just thought of this kind of like, the Berlin Wall. Yes, like the Berlin Wall, similar to that, but we're talking about the wall. How does two and two go together? Well, you could look up a lot of the history of Marilyn Monroe, and you can look up a lot of the history of the Berlin Wall. Actually, both are very similar, more than what you thought. Indeed. So basically, if you started to look at the history of the Berlin Wall itself, you can see that with the Berlin Wall, it obviously had a lot to do with something historic. At the time, Germany, it was divided. It was divided into two countries. You had Eastern Germany and Western, excuse me, you had Eastern Germany and Western Germany. Eastern Germany was ran by the then Soviet Union or Russia, however way you want to look at it, right? But this was due to Hitler at the time, based on, I guess, history. Um, at the time during World War II, allegedly the Third Reich, or, I speak a little bit of German, so it would have been der Dritten Reich, so the Third Reich. Um, they were trying to take over as much of Europe as possible, even the Red Army, Russia. But they couldn't quite get Russia. But as a result, Russia did everything it could to get Germany. And that's a story in itself, but we won't go there. Okay? They didn't get all of Germany, but they got half of Germany. Yes, they got half of Germany, which was what used to be known as Eastern Germany. Ironically, a lot of people see Eastern Germany as the most original Germany, even to this day, because a lot of the east side of Berlin still harkens back to those older Eastern German times, or what some would say original German times, because at the time, when Russia did take over that part of Germany, they were left to pretty much remain as they are, whereas the western half of Germany became more modernized, more westernized after World War II. So this left pretty much the eastern side of Germany in a time capsule. But nevertheless, this idea of the wall that divided Germany, and at the core of that wall was the city of Berlin. Okay. So that's where it started. That's how they started to knock down the wall. But not here to give y'all a history lesson, just here to give y'all just a little bit of what I have to say about it, right? But let's talk about Marilyn Monroe. Similar, she had to go through a lot of different barriers, um, given her name, her status, given how she was put out there in regards to sexuality, but not in a sense of like being sexual, just more or less based on sexual expression versus sexual liberation. And and that was kind of like what Marilyn Monroe represented during her time, because sexual liberation showed up later on in the decades after Marilyn Monroe, but before Marilyn Monroe, or actually before the sexual revolution, and around the time of when Marilyn Monroe was around, it wasn't about the sexual revolution. It was about sexual expression. And someone like her brought that to the limelight for the first time amongst a lot of the westernized world. Ironically, for her being her type in Europe, other women actually took her place as more or less the benchmark of Western standard of beauty, and it was a lot of the ebony or melanated women. Now there are different names. I can't think of a lot of their names right now, but in places like France, they didn't really look up to quote unquote white women for the standard of beauty. In France, they looked at a lot of quote unquote black women, but it was not like you would say in the Americas where they looked at enslaved melanated women or women from tribes, mostly naked, walking around. No, in France, it was literally based on the art and beauty and things like that. They really saw it that way. And a lot of French is spoken by melanated people. And actually, there are more people that speak French in the Western Hemisphere than in the Eastern Hemisphere where France is. Ironically, French is spoken more outside of France than in France. Ain't that funny? That's just something for y'all to think about. That's a side note, okay? But getting back to this Berlin Wall, this Merlin Wall. Why do I call it that? The Merlin Wall, Berlin Wall. Because if you think about it now, this idea of the wall still is being discussed in these spaces, okay? But a lot of the feminine, they really they want to feel set free of that wall. They don't want to hear about the wall. And you have a lot of simps helping them to knock down that Merlin wall so that you could kind of bring both sides together. What is this idea of breaking down this wall of Merlin, if you will? And you saw with thumbnail Marilyn Monroe graffitied, crying on that wall. Well, she's probably like, why does it have to be this way when we all can just get along? But that's not what it ends up being like, right? Sometimes walls represent boundaries, not division, right? But we see that in this case of the wall itself in these spaces, it's now to where it's bringing people together if you see the wall knocked down, but it's not really bringing people together given the wall has been knocked down. Kind of like even in Germany, when you saw the Berlin Wall knocked down, you thought it would bring Germany together. Actually, no. A lot of people that resided in Eastern Germany prefer to keep their cultural roots of Eastern Germany because they feel that they are more German than Western Germany. Okay, that's how it is. And so, mind you, a lot of what is going on with this wall of Merlin versus the wall of Berlin, what you're about to see, and you heard it first here from yours truly. You're going to see a lot of the feminine who thought that they can get away with this notion of no wall, if you will. Kind of reminds me of no walt. They talked about that before, the acronym that is not all women are like that. Okay, these no waltz are now claiming no wall. You see what I'm saying? And they thinking that, hey, no, not every woman is like that in regards to the wall. You see how that goes? Not all women are like that. Not all women hit the wall like that. Not all women uh, suffer because of the wall like that. You know what I'm saying? So that's how that's going. And guess who is helping them with their whole reshaped mindset about the wall? A lot of these simps. It what takes manpower to knock down these walls, right? Takes manpower, not real men, but in their eyes, real men. are helping them knock down these walls, these barriers, as they see it. These lesser feminine see this idea of the wall as a barrier to them. Now, here at this channel, for those who know already, I define the wall as the feminine biological clock. That to me is the wall. Okay, there's no way around it. One can word it or slice and dice it. Either way, it comes out all the same. Okay, the wall is the feminine's biological clock, no matter if you're the greater feminine or the lesser feminine. Now, you see me here dressed up so immaculately as Magneto, if you will, right? That's because I had to deal with those trying to throw that wall at me. Just figuratively speaking, right? Some of the same ones who are anti-wall throw the wall at someone that speaks on the wall clearly, yet I'm not like the manosphere in regards to talking about the wall. Now, I've been talking to y'all here and there about me taking this channel to a different height and level in regards to me not being part of the manosphere. But I believe that I should represent some type of a sphere, not a sphere based on a circle, right? Or a ball, a shape. I'm not talking about that type of a sphere. I'm talking about like an atmosphere type of thing, right? So that's what I mean by sphere here, right? So I thought of it. I thought of it. And so, you know, this is what I'm gonna introduce y'all to. I like to, kind of let y'all in on what I'm about because I've been talking about this here and there, but I don't mind wanting to share because that's kind of what yours truly represents, what you're about to see on the screen here. So you got the manosphere, right? Yours truly represents the xenosphere. There you go. Because it's about Zen, it's about peace. That's what it's all about. It's about the xenosphere over here. It's about that Zen. But we're going to get more into it down the road. I just thought I'd introduce that to y'all. And for those that are watching, it's not a movement. It's not really a group of people. It's really more or less a thought. And the Zen is for the feminine and the masculine. See? There you go. Let's go. Okay. But let's continue on. Okay. This idea of the wall, this Marilyn wall. Let's see what some have been saying. Oh yeah, yeah, you already know, Mike. You already know. You said deliberate. Josephine Baker, Paris, 1950, melanated actress. Yeah, they loved Josephine over in Paris. Yes, that's who. Yes, that's who they saw as that standard of beauty. They modeled a lot of their idea of beauty off of her. I mean, you look at some of the greatest, like Louis Vuitton, things like that, and I think Christian Louboutin, if I'm not mistaken. I believe those both are French. Just to give some people an idea, a lot of those different design houses were based on the figures and likes of Josephine Baker herself. Um, let's go. But yeah, you think at the time the Berlin Wall was knocked down in Berlin, Germany. Auf Deutschland. Okay. Like I said, I know a little German. Okay. Um, at the time, it was more so about, at the time, they thought it was breaking free from the Red Army, the arms of Russia, since Germany was no longer Nazi or tied to Nazi. And everybody thought Joseph Stalin was so evil and things like that. So, um, this idea of knocking down the wall so that both sides can see each other, and kind of reminds me somewhat of the border that was built down there to separate Mexico from the United States, that I believe they called the Trump Wall or something like that. Kind of similar to that, even though, Mexicans down there, they'll find a way to get under the wall. If they can't get through it or over it, they'll get under it. And not just Mexicans either, just so I don't seem like I'm singling out anybody else. But they have tunneled many tunnels. Some of them had to go deep. But you got to be careful. You go so deep, you're gonna run out of oxygen in those tunnels, right? But you find a way to get around this wall. So this brings up this other notion, okay? Of course, the Berlin Wall was taken down, okay? But some walls you got to go under. Some walls you got to go over, okay? Now with the biological clock, which is AKA the wall, you see a lot of the feminine, the lesser feminine, not the greater feminine. See, the greater feminine acknowledges the wall. She acknowledges that she's not the way she used to be anymore. And she deals with that. She knows that she has hit the wall. Her biological clock has come to a stop or it is slowing down. She acknowledges that. So she moves different. She don't try to act and look like a baddie, even though she is getting a little older. Okay. She doesn't try to act the same way she acted when she was younger. Okay. And remember, it's just an act. Okay. Be real for once. Quit putting on the act. Maybe that's the other thing with a lot of the feminine. They get older and they realize it's now time to stop acting. It's time to be real. Oh, and maybe for some of the feminine, it's not even about the realness. Yes, the realness is great, but check this out. Sometimes it's more than just acting. And then beyond that being real, sometimes you have to actually just get active. You weren't active. Okay, you weren't active. You were acting, but you weren't active. You were, if anything, reactive. You couldn't even be proactive. You were distracting. Let's go. um But yeah, you have a lot of the lesser feminine. They want to get through the wall some way. They want to get under or over the wall in some way. And they find different ways of doing this. And a lot of times it's due to a guy helping them to overcome this wall, this biological clock that's in front of them, based on a guy enabling them to be a certain way at a certain age, even though she's getting beyond her prime in many different ways. This Marilyn wall. See, Marilyn looked at the wall. Marilyn saw herself at that wall, as a lot of the feminine do once they come upon that wall full throttle. You start to see your reflection. You start to see the lights get brighter as it gets close to the wall for the collision. You see your life flash before your eyes. You know what I'm saying? You see that, oh wow, something is about to happen and I must brace myself. See, a lot of the feminine don't even brace themselves for what is to come down the road in life. Okay? A lot of them don't. A lot of them actually just try to prepare to burst through the wall, burst through it, or get over it. Literally get over it. And or get under it. They find ways to still try to be more financially secure and try to work on getting that BBL done. You know what I'm saying? Try to find a ways to still keep guys in their DM so that even as they slow down with their activities. Ooh, I said activities. See, not that she's really active. She just has certain activities. Okay, she basically still knows that she has a guy for a rainy day. Okay. A lot of times, one could talk about just how some of the feminine will have a dog and die alone. But think about the fact that even regardless of that, in the back of her mind, she's still trying to save for a rainy day or have a lot of guys that can save her on those rainy days. Some of these guys that she can call to come over during those rainy days. Come cuddle with me, babe. It's a rainy day. Can you come over and cuddle with me? That Merlin wall that she doesn't want to look out at outside her window. Okay. Hey, what's good, King Ball? Good to see you. Good to see you. Yeah. Now, just think about this. Just think about this. And like I said, um, just as the Berlin Wall was knocked down, guys are knocking down the wall for the feminine. It is leading to entitlement from them, okay? With this notion that, oh, I know a guy can help me get through anything, even my depreciation. Even my depreciation. And see, check this out, fellas. A gal that doesn't appreciate you is actually depreciating herself because just as real recognize real, actually appreciation recognizes appreciation. She's only not appreciating you because she's depreciating herself, literally. Not that she's just depreciating, like rotting away. She's literally uh, doing things to herself that are causing her to depreciate. And you hit the wall. That's a great depreciation. That's a great depreciation. But see, imagine it her hitting the wall and she still think that she got it like that, even though you just hit the wall and you're trying to still roll along. You're still trying to shine the paint, still trying to lube up the engine a little bit, even though the engine kind of still blah, 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 when it's going by. And a lot of times she does that. She fumbles through her words when she's talking. Yet you'll have a thirsty guy that'll still give her a chance. Man, hey, you're just enabling her. You're not even trying to show her better. You're enabling her. You're not telling her, hey, things have changed and you got to get this and that together if you really want to keep a man in your life, especially at this stage in your life. I don't necessarily like to say age. I like to say stage because people can be a certain age, but they're still not at the right stage. They're still at a very premature stage. Okay. You said at King Ball, they can stall the odometer but can't turn it back. 200K is 200K. Facts. Facts. That high mileage. Hey, you know what? The more the high mileage on the motor, the more synthetic the oil gotta be. Ooh. A lot of these chicks with the higher mileage tend to get around more synthetic guys. They get to, yeah, get around too many of these synthetic guys when you increase your mileage. Basically, guys not taking you serious, so they're not going to keep it real with you. They're going to keep it very synthetic with you, not copacetic with you. So, of course, that's pathetic. Okay, we see this. hmm Let's go. Okay, now here's the thing, like I said, these guys enabling these lesser feminine to not think of this notion of the wall or think about the trueness of her biological clock, aka I define as the wall over here. A lot of these guys that are enabling these lesser feminine, they're not realizing that, with them and giving them that type of giving them that type of entitlement, especially when you title them as queen, though they never earned the crown. See, um, you got to realize when she starts to feel entitled about that, okay, keep that in mind. To her, it's not really a patriotism of this idea, this anthem. They got a lot of anthems. You see a lot of the lesser feminine have a lot of anthems. And if they don't have an anthem, they chant them. What they chant on TikTok all the time, you see? It's funny, it's called TikTok, but she don't think about her TikTok biological clock, aka the wall. But she complains about it actually. She complains about her biological clock a lot on TikTok. See? You see how that goes? But it's like you brought that on yourself. But nevertheless, at the time when she calls herself trying to live her best life, you can't even see it as patriotism, right? Because patriotism makes you think of patriarchy. So to me, I coined a new word. Instead of patriotism, call it matriotism. Basically, um, all these guys thinking that these gals are going to root for them and pledge allegiance under their flag for them to be united after knocking down this wall for Marilyn or those types that want to be like our Marilyn. Okay, it's backfiring on these type of guys that are calling themselves trying to set these lesser feminine free. And ironically, to me, I see Kim Kardashian as the modern day Marilyn Monroe. If y'all see Kim Kardashian as the modern day Marilyn Monroe, if you see Kim Kardashian as the modern day Marilyn Monroe, you're not alone because I see Kim Kardashian that way too. She is bringing forth this new idea of sexual expression. As I said, in Marilyn Monroe's time, it wasn't about sexual revolution yet. It was just more so about sexual expression. And I see Kim Kardashian do the same thing. So maybe there's yet another sexual revolution on the way, given someone like her has been able to express herself sexually a certain way, right? And unfortunately, it has caused a lot of guys to still support her, despite the fact that she has hit the wall. She hit the wall a long time ago, actually, and I'm not trying to air out too much of Kim K, but it all started with Ray J. And no, I'm not talking about me. I'm talking about that Ray J. I'm just the other Ray J, as I used to be called at this channel, because my first name is Ray and my last name starts with a J. So I am literally the other Ray J, but we now are Rayology XM. But yeah, A lot of what Kim Kardashian was about that made her hit a wall, it all started with the whole Ray J thing, because people saw, oh wow, okay, if he can get it, I could get it too. Or I could get someone like that. It set it a trend. It really did. It set it a trend. Not really a sexual revolution, but that trend was based on a certain expression. It was not really a style, but it was actually a fashion. A lot of these chicks actually consider it a fashionable thing to come out with a sex tape that they hope nobody else sees, but they still show it. They just show it on these different type of adult sites that they can get paid off on. Fast forward, we now call it OnlyFans. Okay. So for a few dollars, you can see my boyfriend making it holler, or he makes me holler. See, that's how some of these chicks are doing it now. Okay, but we ain't gonna go too further deep in that detail. But basically, as I said, this patriotism that they thought they was going to get from these chicks that they try to set free from that wall of Merlin wall, breaking that down to try uh to not be bound by this army. Back then it was Germany not being bound by the Red Army, as some thought. And in this case, a lot of these lesser feminine don't want to be tied down by the army of real men. Okay. But these guys that are helping these lesser feminine to that reality, like they're not getting that appreciation back. There's not a patriotism because they don't see these guys as patriarchal in the first place. Like, they're being used as pawns for their game. The lesser feminines game. It's just backfiring on these guys. Okay. It's like, okay, you help these gals be set free, but it's backfiring on you. They're just using you as a floor mat. Okay. Allegedly, though. Allegedly, I like to say allegedly a lot. I like to say allegedly a lot. Um, but yeah, no matter what they do for these lesser feminine, these females that aren't real women, okay? No matter what they do, they're not going to get that appreciation. These guys are just not realizing that. You calling them queens, even though they have not earned that crown, you're not getting that appreciation back. They're still going to look at you as a peasant. Hey, you called her a queen, right? you know, it's just going to empower these lesser feminine in their own selfish way with no consideration for guys that literally paved the way for them. They literally turned that wall into the road for them to walk down. Those type of guys, I must add. Basically, those guys, their thirst is their curse. They don't realize that, okay? A lot of them don't realize that. But let's go. You said deliberate. Agree, she is faking, and she knew she is funky, faking her funk. Hey, I appreciate that, Mike. You already know. You said also deliberate. Therefore, she will not appreciate the soap and water you bring her. Yeah, she's used to the funk. She's like of the pigs in the muck and the mire. That's what she is. She's not used to being cleaned off or wanting to be. Yup. That's it, King Ball. Stepping stones. You use that same wall you knock down and make stepping stones out of that rubble. Oh, should we say that these anti-wall chicks see them coming out of that rubble of the wall, and they see themselves as phoenixes? But one should know about the phoenix, with Jean Ray. Jean Ray couldn't control the phoenix in her that she had. So a lot of these less feminine that think they're being empowered with this great power of sexual expression and liberation, they can't handle it. We see it all the time. We see the destruction of generations before our eyes. We see it. You know what I'm saying? We see it before our eyes. You said deliberate. Kim Kardashian's the ultimate wholesome revolution that we see now, still in the development stages. Something to think about, just how deep and ugly this 304 going to get. Yeah, you already know. The rabbit hole gets deep. Yeah, the rabbit hole gets deep. But yeah, let's go in. Let's go in. Okay, we're gonna go in a couple of times. Y'all gonna hear me, because I guess going in means that we can somewhat go into the rabbit hole. So I represent the Rabbit Hole Special Forces unit, and I'm always looking for recruits. Hoorah! But yeah, at this channel, the biological clock is still my definition of the wall. And you hear all over the manosphere. That's why I say over here, this ain't the manosphere, never been, because they don't even have my talking points and I don't have theirs. And I'm not against the manosphere. I'm just saying there's a different language over here. That's why we don't call over here the manosphere. This is the xenosphere, the zen, about having that zen within, right? This ain't the manosphere, this is the xenosphere. Okay. But you never hear them over there or anywhere else out in YouTube. You'll never hear someone talk about the wall as the feminine biological clock. It's all the same because it's like even if they didn't hear this terminology, the wall, they're basically saying the same thing in regards to their biological clock. I just put an actual definition on it. I'm bringing basically two things together to where it makes sense. Okay. Because it makes sense. The wall is her biological clock. It makes sense. It's like there's no way around it. Okay. But yeah, the biological clock is still my definition of the wall here. Okay. But in this case, we're about to go further because basically these thirsty guys have picked up these clocks and have given a lot of these lesser feminine more time. They've given them more time on their biological clock. I thought that was impossible. I mean, King Ball just said earlier, they can stall the odometer, but can't turn it back. 200K is 200K. See, the odometer, the clock, I mean, you can't rewind time, right? I mean, you can't go like back to the future, back to the past, right? Like, you mean to tell me that these are time travelers with this biological clock thing? Are we getting kind of futuristic with this thing? Is she somehow able to look 15 years younger? Or maybe it was just the drink that the guy had that night and he thought that she looked 15 years younger. What is it? But either way, they picking up these biological clocks and rewinding the time. Maybe trying to rewind that odometer too, King Ball. I don't know. But they doing something. A lot of these guys are doing something. I've never been the type to do that. And I'm not bragging when I say that. I just say that I've never been the type to do that. Because I've seen how detrimental it is when you try to give a lot of the lesser feminine the benefit of the doubt. And she's trying to be like Stella, trying to have her groove back. And all she's really doing is just trying to move back. She ain't trying to have a groove back. She's just trying to move back to a certain place and time that she never had a chance to fulfill, even if that means she'll lose control of that wheel and hit the wall, lose control of her will. Yeah, let's keep going. Like I said, these guys have picked up these clocks and have given the lesser feminine more time. Why do you think they're so empowered now? Because the new sexual revolution is about to take place. And I've said this before. It's about these surgeries. It's about this WAP. It's about other things too that are too controversial for this live stream and for YouTube, but some of y'all get the gist. Okay. Anything that a lot of the lesser feminine can do to rewind the hand of time, even though they have expired. Okay. In many ways, you have a guy that can say, hey, no, you still got some time left with me. And he'll literally be serious about it. So serious. It reminds me of who? Uh that Renner chick, Brittany Renner, you know. Unfortunately, someone picked up the biological clock on her and rewinded that hand of time. But despite the fact that she was able to have a child, one can look at her and just tell that she expired a long time ago. She wasn't supposed to be in that certain situation, but somehow she still got in that certain situation. Same thing with a lot of the Kim K's and the rest of her clan, her K clan, right? Okay, K. Hey, now here's the thing. Like I said, rewinding the hand of time, just like in a game. I talk about how I am not about game, but I do peep game. So let me tell you about how I peep game, right? Guys rewinding that clock on that shot clock at the game, rewinding that clock back, even though the game is about to be over with. Oh, they do. Hey, it's not limited to game though. I'm more about the race instead of the game. You know, nothing like the fastest runner in the world. He runs a certain time, right? Let's say theoretically, he runs a time of like 9 seconds, 9 point, let's say theoretically 9.82. Okay. They're going to round it down to 9.80 just to make it round up or round down, just to make it seem like he was faster than what he actually is. That's how they do that. But I believe they do that because of the way the metric system is and the way the wind is when you're running and things like that. So they usually have to round up or round down the time so that it evens out, given those realistic adjustments that sometimes take place that the computer can't pick up, or the algorithms of your running times can't pick up all the time. Okay. But yeah, you either can stop, you can stop the stop clock and rewind the stop clock, or you can rewind the shot clock. There you go. Rewind the shot clock and the stop clock. What the blood clots, man. But that's what they do. That's what guys are doing. They're rewinding the the shot clock in the stop clock. I believe I said that right, like on a stopwatch. Cross that line, and you can rewind the time. Make it seem like the person ran faster than what they actually did. Make it seem like she getting through much better than what she actually did. Make it seem like she actually deserved that extra time on the flow to try to get the play right. Try to get that extra bucket. She didn't deserve that. You got fans in the stage booing, boo. You know what I'm saying? Gonna be talked about for days, maybe decades. People looking back, people willing to burn that jersey. Man, they did not deserve that extra few seconds. Dog, that was a cheat, man. Who's the referee that night? They did not deserve that win. Y'all know who I'm talking about, whether football, basketball, baseball don't really run off of time though. That's another story. I think they just get an extra inning, if anything. But baseball, you could run it literally forever until the ninth inning gets there. Okay. A lot of people don't know that. Baseball does not have a time, does not have a clock. That's for another conversation though, not tonight. You said deliberate. That sounds like cheating, okay? Cheating is not winning. Facts, but still part of the game. Ooh. Yeah, telling you. Hey, it's funny. It's funny. I ain't about game, but I peep game. Sometimes it's better to peep game. Food for thought. But yeah, this makes me think of something else because we finna go in some more. Letting y'all know more about that Merlin wall, right? This is all about the Merlin wall. Just keep all that in mind. Okay. Keep all that in mind. This makes me think of the Great Wall of China, but in this case, the Great Wall behind her. Try to rhyme. I don't know if that rhymes all the way for y'all, but yeah. Think of the Great Wall of China, but in this case, the Great Wall behind her. But there's still something beyond the wall, and we're gonna get into that because this ties in with this Merlin Wall idea. Okay, because like I said, there's different ways to deal with this wall of Merlin, this wall that Merlin had to look at, and a lot of the lesser feminine have to look at it. They want to avoid it. They want to find a way to deal with it or get through it by any means necessary. Okay. But there's something beyond the wall, and I want to talk to y'all about it. I'm going to briefly talk about it, just briefly, because we're going into that next dimension, and it's going to represent the next sexual revolution. Yes, there is another sexual revolution on the way, and we're starting to see the beginnings of it. I've talked about this dawn of a new sexual revolution before at this channel, okay? For some of y'all that have checked out my previous live streams, y'all already know that I'm well versed in this. But what is beyond the wall? What's beyond the wall is a bridge. That's what's beyond the wall, okay? This bridge is the extension of her biological clock, okay? The bridge is. Yes, literally the bridge. And she is not trying to burn that bridge. I, I promise you, she is not trying to burn that bridge. She didn't think about burning bridges before. It wasn't about no bridges. It was literally about that wall, that clock. Okay. So what does it mean? Okay. Like I said, the wall here at this channel is the feminine's biological clock. So the bridge is actually the extension of her biological clock. Okay. When you run out of the wall, you have to make a bridge. Does that make sense to y'all? When you run out of the wall, you got to make a bridge. Or even when you knock down a wall, what's next? What's the next barrier? It's you're gonna need a bridge. The wall was just your barrier to get to the other side. And you need a bridge to get beyond that other side, especially if you have to go over a huge amount of land that is hard to traverse via terrain or water. You need a bridge for that. And that's her. She still needs that extra time, even though she's not fit to go any further than where she's been. She just needs a little extra time just to prove that she still can do it. And what is her excuse? Well, simply like anyone would say, I made it this far. But the question is, how did you make it that far to where you still ended up hitting the wall? Well, you probably didn't make it that far yourself. You had people like these simps I've been talking about. These simps, people like these simps have been enabling you. Your relatives have been enabling you. Your close friends, your girlfriends that you do a lot of kikiing with, they the ones that been enabling you. But that's all over with now. You're trying to move further, even though you didn't deserve it. Somebody is helping you get through that. Okay. Now, I remember growing up in the church, the Christian church, they talk about this idea of grace is things happening to you that you didn't deserve. That's this idea of grace. But what happens when you fall from grace? See, I want y'all to see that this is what the wall is. The Marilyn wall, the wall of Marilyn, is someone that has literally fell from grace. Because when it's truly grace, you are more graceful because you're more grateful. You're more thankful upon that grace being bestowed onto you. So what happens is someone has been graceful to you, shown you grace, and you've literally erased it. You literally don't acknowledge it. So they say that this person can only learn the hard way. They truly fell from grace. They probably fell and hit the wall. They fell on their way down. Not every time you hit the wall is because of a car. Sometimes you could be in an airplane and crash into a wall, right? No pun intended. But I'm just saying, fell from grace and hit the wall on the way down. Ooh, that has to be painful, right? Just saying. Okay. But beyond that, I guess somehow you were able to somewhat get yourself together because you'll never quite be the same after a certain wreckage. And like King Ball said, when reality humbles one. And that's the thing. For a lot of that lesser feminine, a lot of them don't be that humble. Only a few will. That's the crazy thing. Some will be on their deathbed still the same way they were before they encountered the wall of Marilyn. Okay. That's the sad part. You got girls in their 80s and 70s still a certain way. Like it doesn't matter. And that's the thing. Like, I remember when Deliberate was talking about what I just said about, the whole cheating, like, but it's still part of the game. And see, my definition of cheating is the underestimation of one's value. So to me, it's like when someone's playing games on you, they literally don't care about your value because they was willing to play games on you in the first place. They saw you as a game. They didn't really see you as a reality, you know. They just saw you as a game. You was just part of their game. Mm. How does it feel for them to cheat on you? How does it feel for you to be cheated on? Well, a person can only cheat on you when they playing games with you. Simple as that. Yeah. But yeah, the bridge is the extension of her wall. Okay. That bridge is the extension of her biological clock. She just needed a little more time. By a little more time, just a little bit more time. Like basically, look at it this way, y'all. Look at it this way. Hey, AOA, Age of Aquarius, peace to you. Good to see you up in the building. Um, think about it this way for the lesser feminine. Now, I'm not talking about the greater feminine because the greater feminine are aware of what I'm talking about and much love to y'all. But the lesser feminine that want to be hard headed, they the type that'll crash, they'll hit that wall. They might even get partially through the wall, right? It might have been enough blunt force to where they crash through the wall a little bit. Gonna be a lot of pain, but they got through it. But they now see kind of like amidst all of the Cinderella. Oh man, that type of Cinderella. Oh man, that's another conversation for another day. But nevertheless, out of that rubble was, you know how it is when brick and mortar kind of rumble up and you start to see this cloud of cinders and cement, and it clears up. It clears up, and then you see this bridge, and you're like, oh, maybe there's still a way I can go a little further. I'm a little hurt, but I can make it. I'm gonna get there. Okay. Now the crazy thing is, you'll have some guys, and this is probably for another conversation, right? Some guys will be like, "Hey, you don't need a bridge. If you're trying to get to the other side, head out to the chopper. Head out to the chopper." Like Arnold Schwarzenegger said on Predator. You know, tell her to reach up and grab that rope so he could pull her up to his chopper and get her over to the other side. You don't need a bridge. Just come and get on the chopper. But the chopper could lose control and it could crash. And no pun intended. I know that has something to do with Kobe Bryant. This is not about Kobe Bryant, okay? No pun intended. My condolences to Black Mamba, okay? But I'm just saying, some chicks, they just rely on a lot of any way of getting out of things instead of dealing with the reality of things, dealing with the fact that there's a different way you need to go about in life versus the way you've been doing things and how you want everything to go your way. You can't go that far no more, okay? You got to be happy with where you are in life and who's going to be dealing with you that certain way in life. But let's get more into this bridge, okay? I'm not going to go too deep into it, but we're going to talk a little bit about it. Okay, you said deliberate. This is a time of uh rendition. Yeah, or redemption. I don't know if that's what you meant, but yeah, anything based on remedy and all of that. Yes. You also said deliberate, and it's sad they don't see the way out to a better life, right? Yeah, because they're just so carnal about everything. That's really what it is. They're not really going deeper. They're going just based on their current circumstance and based on the materials at hand, if you will. And they're not realizing all that stuff can wither. Even what they've done to their bodies, all that stuff can wither. That biological clock, what do you do once that clock actually stops? That biological clock. Okay, there's this thing called just be still. Okay, just be still. But you have a lot of the lesser feminine that don't know how to be still. They don't know how to be content. They have a lot of contempt. And what they say, something about something breeds contempt. Maybe y'all can help me in the comments, in the chat. Something breeds contempt. I forget what it is, but it has a lot to do with the lesser feminine not knowing how to chill. They'll just end up with a idle mind. Okay, and so they go into this mode of not really knowing how to better themselves now that they have to be still for once in their life, literally have to wake up and smell the roses and things like that. They were used to living in the fast lane. Okay. But yeah, Here's the thing: when you run out of a wall, you have to make a bridge. That lesser feminine, she just needs to buy a little bit of extra time. A lot of times she didn't even deserve because she didn't even maintain herself with the time that she had before she hit that wall, full throttle. Okay. So that's the thing, ladies. No matter what your age is, do a lot with the time that you have, because a lot of lesser feminine, they just think that they're going to always have a lot of time in their world to do what they want to do. A lot of them have this excuse that they're not ready to be with somebody, especially the ones that are young. They think, oh, I don't have babies, and I'm gonna get myself together. I'm not ready for that. Well, every time you said that, you're taking off 15 years of your life. Every time you say that, and that literally is what happened. I mean, you think about a lot of times the lesser feminine have said that. By the time she becomes 60 years old, now she wants to say she's ready. So she's probably told a few guys, maybe 4 or 5 guys in her lifetime, 5 crucial guys in her lifetime that she wasn't ready. What, 15 times 4? 15 times 4 is 60. So 4 of those guys, for each guy, she took away 15 years of her life by telling that guy that she wasn't ready. And think about what she did during those 15 years. Thinking about, maybe I should have said that I was ready, but another guy shows up. Then you tell him you're not ready once again. That's another 15 years gone. Okay, that's another 15 years gone. So I guess by the time she gets 60, that's when she's really looking for that bridge. And you see a lot of these old grandmas trying to look like a young gal. I mean, you getting old grandmas doing BBLs, still trying to look like she 20 or 30, but you like 60. Nothing wrong with an attractive older woman. I think that's attractive, especially when it's natural. But when she's still trying to look young, there's something off about that. Why? That's that bridge I was talking about. These simps are making it possible to get the BBLs. Uh, they now got these sites, these um, OnlyFans. You can do a DM. There's a market for a MILF or a GILF. Y'all look up what MILF and GILF mean. You said Age of Aquarius. Tomorrow's not promised for nobody, so everyone need to quit thinking about they have time to get it right, especially when it comes to relationships. Facts. We are living in such times that we need to get it right now. If something happened within the next day, you want to know that, hey, I was with somebody that had love for me. Something is beautiful about that, about knowing that somebody out there in this world got love for you. So think about that extra time some of the lesser feminine want to have, just to even try to see if they can find someone that will actually love them. But see, a lot of things in her back of her mind, she's probably like, no, I'm just still trying to find a guy that'll love me like this. And it's like, no, that's not going to be true love. You're being one-sided, okay? Because what about him being the way he is? If you're going to have him accept you for the way you are, you got to accept him for the way he is. But no, they're like, no, he got to make over 6 figures. Okay. He got to have this and have that going on. He got to make just as much money as me. And it's like, but that's been the problem, right? You've made this much money and still no man. To me, I think the most successful thing a woman can do in this life is to have a man, nothing else. Because with that man, everything else can happen in your life with great satisfaction. You might achieve certain things in this lifetime, right? Without a man, but it's something about having a man in this life with those achievements that makes it that much better. And even the fact that you probably wouldn't have had to work so hard to achieve certain things when you actually have a man in your life. Take some of that load off. I know a lot of gals that they doing good, money right, but they go home to a cold bed every night and they're always sore, always sick, just wishing that they had a man around. You know what I mean? I hear about it all the time. And I have to sit there and be a black knight about it. I have to just continue to walk amongst that damsel in distress or even spinster in distress. I have to see it. And it's like, it's sad, but it's unfortunate. It's at a biblical proportion now. And these be some of the same chicks that told guys back in the day, I wasn't ready. Okay. So that's why they need that bridge, because they're past that wall. They went past the wall and they didn't acknowledge the wall even when they hit the wall. So now they just want some extra time. Okay. So let's see what else y'all been saying. You said deliberate. That is the real clock vanity. You cannot hide that, even with plastic surgery. That is why you should not fight it. Just flow with the grace, grown old with grace. Amen. You said King Ball. You said snow on top but fire below. Facts. Facts. But yeah, that's true what you're saying as well, deliberate. Yeah, that's a good point. You said Cortez, all the women I see getting BBLs are 33 to 45. Oh man, that's so sad, man. That is so sad. Yo, that is sad. Real talk. Good to see you in the building, by the way, Cortez. As usual, for sure. Mm, 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 mm. Yeah, but keep this in mind about how a lot of the lesser feminine, once again, not talking about the greater feminine, but the lesser feminine, when they hit that wall full throttle and they didn't acknowledge the wall, but they still want extra time to try to get some things right. That's why they need that bridge. Beyond the wall is the bridge. That extra time that she needed, that these simps are giving her because they're rewinding the clocks for them through different avenues like BBLs and OnlyFans and a few other things I could think of. But maybe y'all can help me out with some of these other things. I got a live stream I got to finish. Come on now. Just messing with y'all. Uh, Basically, what happens, given that, you know, she went past the wall and needs a little bit more time via the bridge, there are three different ways in regards to the bridge that she needs as she gets beyond the wall. Because basically now at this stage, a lot of guys ain't even looking at her a certain way no more. They don't want to do nothing with her. They don't want to have nothing to do with her. If they do something with her, it's just going to be a booty call. It's not going to be like, I want to really have something serious with you. You know, they just see her for one thing and one thing only. So it's like now she's starting to see that reality, like what King Ball said earlier. You know, what humbles you, that that when reality humbles one, when she's just used for pump and dump or catch and release, right? That real reality, knowing that that's the only time a guy's calling her. That's the only reason why a guy comes over. And I've seen and heard about this, right? Guy just coming over and he just starts taking off his clothes and he gets the job done and he walks out. Don't say nothing to it, no strings attached. And she's willing to accept that just because she just wants to feel the presence of a man or what she thinks is a man, even if it's only temporary. She just didn't want to be lonely. It's sad. Get a lot of gals in their 70s, even in their 70s, still being treated as booty calls, pump and dumps and catch and releases. That's part of the bridge too. But she cries every time several guys during that week leave. None of them want her. None of them need her. She'll dress up. And that's the only reason why she's dressing up is because all them guys that show up throughout the day and throughout the week just to hit it and split it. They ain't gonna quit it because, you know, she's a reliable booty call for a lot of these guys. And they maybe drop her off a few stacks and keep it moving so her lights stay on so he can have somewhere to, you know, hide out for a couple hours. Maybe some guys might stay overnight, who knows? But to her, that's very depressing because she like none of these guys want to really love me. You know, none of these guys love me. Even this bridge that I've been offered, it's not going the way that I thought it would after this wall I have gotten past. This bridge ain't no better than the wall that I didn't want to face. This Monroe, I mean, yeah, this Marilyn Monroe, this Berlin Wall. This bridge ain't no better, you know? You said King Ball, I'm so glad I'm married, picking out. There are terrible on too many levels. Yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. I feel you, man. I feel you. Yeah. Um, but yeah, this bridge. What is it about this bridge? There are three ways she tries to deal with this bridge or get around through this via this bridge. So you know, with a bridge. You go under a bridge, you go over the bridge, or you go through the bridge. Now, the thing with a bridge has clearances. I'll do a separate upload on all this stuff, but I'll just talk about the three different bridges, right? Just for now. Okay. Like, yeah, you go under a bridge, like there's like a railroad track uh above you, or maybe another highway or something. But you go under it, it's literally a bridge. It's like an overpass. They call it an overpass, but you can still call it a bridge, right? Okay. But then you go over the bridge because like you're really going over the bridge, like you're using the bridge to get over something. Okay. And then through the bridge because you got bi-level bridges. Look at like Seattle. Seattle used to have a lot of bi-level bridges where you was on one level, but then you had cars on top of you, or you had a railroad track on top of you. So that's going through a bridge. Some people might say, you mean a tunnel? No, there were actually um, bi-level bridges, if that makes sense. There are such thing as like bi-level bridges where you literally go through the bridge. St. Louis used to have similar bridges like Seattle back in the day. But like I said, I'll do a separate upload of all this. I'll do a separate upload. Yeah, that is true. Deliberate trolls live under bridges. Oh yeah, yeah. There's a lot of truth to that. Okay. But yeah, last but not least, we're an hour in. I appreciate everybody for stopping by, and I'm definitely going to do an upload on this. I'm not going to do like a sequel to this live stream. I'll just do a separate upload explaining more about this bridge because beyond the wall is the bridge. You're going to hear a lot of the lesser feminine talking about this bridge. Subconsciously, they're already bringing it up. They're going to be like, y'all going to be thinking they came to Ray's channel. Maybe some did, but subconsciously, what you say is spoken out to the universe. So it's going to reach out to people one way or another subconsciously. Even if they didn't come to my channel, it's spreading. It's going through the airwaves and the algorithms as I speak. Okay. But yeah, last but not least, a lot of people want the lesser feminine to get away with this notion that they can get away with the type of guy that they want, even though they no longer are fit for that type of guy or deserve that type of guy. Okay. So meaning that you have a lot of society that tells the lesser feminine it's okay to mess up and you run into all these guys and even try to go for the guy you really want. And this is after you've had your shot, but you blew that opportunity back in the day, maybe because you told that guy that you weren't ready, but maybe now he's like hundreds of dollars, hundreds of thousands of dollars wealthier now. So now you're going to try to go after that same guy. Now, kind of like I guess a high school gal that now has a crush on that same guy she turned down in high school. You see this same guy well off now. Now you're trying to go back after him after so many years of turning down not only him, but guys like him, telling guys like that you weren't ready. So you're hoping that this guy that you run into once more, your high school um high school outcast that you try to make him. Now you're hoping that he gives you a bridge of opportunity to come over his way, that olive branch. I see you over there kind of struggling, and yeah, you look like you went through a wall, that Marilyn wall there. And I can still try to help you get to the other side to some better freedom if I just offer you a bridge. Mm, y'all see how I put that together? Oh yeah. But see, here's the thing. She that might not happen. He still might turn her down, then what? So that happens quite a bit though. So to me, this is toxic rhetoric for the younger generation of the feminine coming up. For them to not count their losses. Because that's basically what is being said within that statement of, oh, like let them try to get the guy that they no longer can get. No, count your losses. You passed up a guy like that back in the day. Now you got to deal with your lot in life and accept that you probably ain't gonna get that kind of guy now. Maybe some of the feminine still will because maybe that guy will be simpish enough to offer her a bridge. Okay. But you know what's so funny about that? Just because you get on the bridge don't mean you're going to stay on it. Some bridges are like tight ropes and you might fall off of that tight rope of a bridge. You just might. Maybe that bridge might implode. Maybe the wind might blow that bridge to pieces. We don't know. Who knows? Maybe a terrorist puts a bomb on the bridge. You never know. You said Age of Aquarius. The lesser feminine women are really confused because they claim to be independent but need a man to fix, repair, and build things. Like, for instance, women don't fix electrical, gas, nor water lines. Facts. And that's another bridge. That's another bridge, Aquarius. That's a good point you brought up. That's actually another bridge. Woo, that's another bridge. Maybe one of those guys that she told that she wasn't ready for, maybe he became an expert electrician. So she gonna give him a call now. Maybe his name was Tristan. I actually grew up with a guy named Tristan, and he's a Sagittarius like me. So shout out to Tristan if he's checking out my channel. But yeah, he met in a she met in an electrician. I'm sorry, y'all. The electrician was named Tristan. Try saying that as fast as you can. I bet that's a tongue tie. But yeah, the electrician that was named Tristan. She turned down Tristan when they was younger. She said she wasn't ready for him. But now he's an expert electrician, doing well. He probably has a family already too, mind you, right? But she gonna give him a call like, "Yo, hey Tristan, yo, you doing so well for yourself. I'm so proud of you." You know how they be. "I'm so proud of you. You think you can look out for your old friend? Like, I got like this electric thing going on, and I would really wish you could come by and check it out." So Tristan, if he's morally sound, he kind of is thoughtful about it. And then he kind of scratched his head and he was like, "Okay, I'll come check you out. I'll come, at least give you an overview of what's going on, right?" But see, homegirl trying to score. She's trying to score. She's trying to hope that clock can be rewinded. And she's hoping that Tristan will give her a chance, even if that means she'll be a mistress. Yeah, that bridge. That bridge. That bridge. I just need to find somebody that's gonna love me a certain way. That's dangerous, man. It's really dangerous. It's really dangerous. You said King Ball, and he will be seen as wrong if he hit and run. Facts. You said King Ball being used as a utility works both ways. Yes, it does. Yes, it does. Because let's talk about it in context of the Marilyn Wall. Maybe that's all she's good for. More than just a booty call. Let's say if she was good at taxes. A lot of gals are good at taxes or good at social work, things like that, you know what I'm saying? Uh Maybe she's actually a bus driver for all I know. I don't know. But homeboy know how to use her just to get around, just to get through to navigate the system. And she calling him back like, yo, yo, Patrick, like, I hooked you up. And you can't hook your girl up with like just a dinner date or something. I hooked you up. Like, I really looked out for you. And home dude like, "Nah, man, like it ain't like that with you and me." So that bridge, she hoped she was gonna get that bridge of him hooking her up with just some time spent for her looking out for him. But he on to bigger and better things. And he just wanted to hit her up for a hookup, but not really for a hookup booty call type of situation. See? That part. That part people don't talk about though. They don't talk about that. You said Aquarius. Oh, you mean those "hey big head" texts, LMAO, when a woman checked back in years after refusing to give that man a chance. Then you also said Aquarius, but now she wants to give the man a chance because her options are low. Now, to get a good man, facts. That's it. That bridge. She needs that bridge. Bridge that gap. Ooh, that gap of those 15 years. Now that she's at a certain age, she needs someone to bridge that gap. Y'all see where I'm going with this, and I appreciate y'all helping me fill in these words like Aquarius did, King Ball did, Deliberate did, you know what I'm saying, Cortez did, all that. I appreciate y'all for doing that. And of course, Mike always in the building telling everybody to give me the like. So yeah, y'all make sure y'all hit that like button if y'all really like this content. But yeah, think about the bridge in that regard too, bridging that gap. That's it. That's it, Deliberate. Familiarity breeds contempt. Facts. Facts. Yep. They don't know how to be at peace because they don't want to be familiar with certain things, but they don't see it like family. Okay. They don't see it in regards to family. They just see it as familiar because they're really not used to being settled down in one place. You know what I'm saying? They're not used to that. They're not used to that. They're not used to being supportive. Yes, and that's true, King Ball. I appreciate that from you and everybody else supporting me. But yeah, she's not used to being a supporter. Okay? She's not used to that. She actually is just used to going along for the ride, but she's not a ride or die. Yeah, she's not one of that. She actually is yeah, she's a ride and die. She's not a ride or die. She's a ride and die. Cause it's like she's like that's just like really kind of like that statement of live by the sword, die by the sword. That's kind of like what it is for the lesser feminine in regards to the way that she rides, right? But most of the feminine still um like in regards to getting a certain guy, like with what Aquarius was just talking about in regards to how some of them still trying to get a certain guy, even though they can't no more. And let's keep it a buck. It's not the high value man, the one with six figures. It's not just that guy. You know what I'm saying? It's also the decent man. Some people say the good man. I talk about the high vibrational man over here because that's my acronym of HVM, just as with high value man. Over here, I say high vibrational man. Okay. But nevertheless, still this idea of what a good man represents. It's not just about the high value man, it's also about the high vibrational man in this conversation, okay? But still, her idea of being so focused on trying to get a certain guy like that, they're too focused on those lesser feminine are too focused on trying to define themselves instead of trying to align themselves. A lot of them are lying to themselves, if you will. Okay. They're so stuck on this sexual market value. Real men, actual high vibrational men, don't really care about sexual market value like that. It's about the way you should be aligned to him. Okay. The way you should line up. You could look like a baddie out here, like looking real nice, body tight and right, but your head not on right. That's not going to line up well. Alignment, remember? But yeah, you have a lot of the lesser feminine that so focused on trying to define themselves instead of align themselves. And sometimes the way they want to define themselves is based on their delusion of how they refine themselves. Okay. Like how they're trying to get better on their own without a man. Like Aquarius said earlier about how a lot of them continue to walk on this path of trying to be strong and independent. Okay. That's them trying to define themselves and refine themselves instead of align themselves. Because, see, to align yourself, that means you have to get on track in order to be up to speed. Okay. You got to get on track in order to be up to speed. Literally. That's why I say over here, I'm not about the game, I'm about the race. I'm definitely about the race over here, not the game. You have to align yourself on the track in order for you to get up to speed. Otherwise, you're going to derail. You're going to hit the wall. Okay? Literally. You got to make sure you're on the right track. You're going on the right track so you can avoid certain collisions that come in this life. That way you can avoid these Merlin walls. Yes, all these Merlin walls, the wall of Merlin. But you know what? Here's the thing with a lot of the lesser feminine. They're so hard headed, they'll still be on the wrong track. They'll see that the Merlin wall is there, and they'll try to think that train is going to bust right through that wall and still remain intact to keep going, not even knowing if there's track on the other side of that wall. What if that track is exempt because that track is no longer there, or that track is no longer rail worthy? Yes, it's no longer rail worthy. A train cannot go on that track. It's just something to think about. It's something to think about. You said Aquarius. High value really means turning sewage wastewater into good drinking water. It's nonsense and can't get any good nutritional benefits from drinking toxicity. Exactly. It's still the same water that you just spit out. It's still the same water. No matter how one looks at it, it's still the same water. You know, for it to be better water, you got to actually add more pure water to that water. Recycling that water, you can only recycle that water so much. You got to add more purity to that water to make it better. And that's something that a lot of the lesser feminine don't want to accept. The fact that some of them need to be more pure, they need to be more purified. See, you said also Aquarius, a person of good, decent quality and character is what people should be looking for instead of high value, because high value is fool's gold and you will be fooled. Exactly. I agree with you on that. That's facts. Facts. There's so much to say about this wall of Merlin, this Merlin wall. There's so much to say. Oh man, and I'm gonna really unpack with this bridge that I believe is beyond the wall, because it's about right now the lesser feminine wanting to buy extra time so they can live their best life a little bit longer. Hopefully, this live made sense to some. Maybe this live did not make sense to others. If this live made sense to you, whoever's watching, listening, make sure that you hit that like button, especially those listening to this on the replay. If this is your first time coming to my channel, you like my content, whether it's my uploads, my short videos, or my live streams, there's more in store. So make sure that you subscribe, share this live, as well as my other content. Let's see what Deliberate said. You said vanity is the true lie. True beauty. You said vanity is the true lie. True beauty is within a righteous man. Seeing develops the true beauty in of a woman, making her true beauty real. Amen. Yeah, that's facts. Y'all better share this live as well as my other content. Just go into my archives and you'll see that I have an extensive playlist that consists of a lot of different topics. In the description section, for those that are checking this out on the replay, you'll see different platforms that I'm on. You'll also see a link for if you want to tip yours truly. That's also in the description section. Even those in the chat, look up top, you'll see the comment that's pinned, highlighted color blue. If you want to tip yours truly, that's there if you care. But just you being here, that's enough for me too. I appreciate that. No expectation, no obligation, just appreciation. You said Aquarius. Merlin Wall is vain without substance and skills mixed with that to keep a sustainable and successful relationship. That's facts. That's facts. Mm, 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 mm. Woo. That's facts. Yeah, there's so much to say about that. See, The idea of the Merlin wall is just like the Berlin Wall. So this vanity that Aquarius just spoke of so greatly, um, this type of wall you want to see come down, but you're having it come down for the wrong reasons in the wrong way. And I'm not saying that in regards to the Berlin Wall either. I'm just talking about the Merlin Wall. People want to see these walls come down for the wrong reasons and for the wrong ways. For the wrong reasons and for the wrong ways, instead of everyone coming together to make this a better situation, a better reality. Because it takes a understanding and understanding and overstanding and an outer standing, all of the above. Okay, it takes all of that for one to get a notion of this Merlin wall that I've talked about tonight, so that you know that going forward, no matter what it looks like out there, it's only going to get better from here. And it has been getting better from here, because more of the greater feminine are starting to call out the lesser feminine, basically just telling them to be more feminine. I mean, it don't take much. Just be more feminine. That means just, hey, quit being so vain. That makes you more insane. Real talk. And y'all see some of the gals that are delusional, especially at a certain age. And, let's say if some of them are just, your body is really like jacked up. Like you haven't even went to get your body right, like to get help. Like, and what I mean is, it's like some of them have arthritis. Okay, it's like, girl, good and well, you shouldn't be trying to twerk. And you got arthritis. Come on now, you need to stop that. You need to stop that, girl. You need to stop that, okay? You still trying to down them drinks and you got kidney issues. Need to not, no, don't do that. And then you look at her high school pictures, you look at her pictures from 5 years ago, you like, dang, what happened to you? What happened to you? And she still hopes a guy gives her a bridge and accepts her the way she is. And she's not trying to get better to get over to the other side. It's sad, man. But like I said, just dealing with this Merlin wall head on, letting people see the reality of even what it's like if that wall came down. Not just the fact that the wall is still there, not just the fact that the biological clock is still there and that the bridge is still there, but more or less like, okay, what is the reality that the lesser feminine is still not trying to see? Basically, they're still not trying to see what they need to do about it or what they shouldn't do about it, because there are some things they shouldn't be trying to do at a certain age, or as I would say, a certain stage in their life. But it's been a blessing talking to y'all tonight. Definitely more in store. Another great live stream on the way. Hope y'all enjoy this one. Enjoy the rest of this night, given the date of this live stream. I'll see y'all on the next one. Thanks a million for stopping by. Much love. And make sure y'all hit that like button on the way out if you haven't already, even those listening to this on the replay. All right now.